Today we are reading the last chapter of The Return of Sherlock Holmes. It's been a while, but I hope you're doing well. I'm not quite sure why this isn't centered anymore. I don't think I changed the size of the screen, but hopefully that's all audible to you guys. So yeah, give it a minute for people to show up, and then we'll be on our way. So what happened last time? The Adventure of the Abbey Grange. Oh yes, the Brackenstall case where we have this really jerk husband who died and a wife who was shot. No, she was tied up while this burglary happened. But it turns out it was all made up, and it was actually another man in her life, her brother, I think, maybe, who came to like visit or something, and then the husband was being a jerk and pulled out a gun, so the guy shot back. Yeah, I think that's what happened. And they wanted to cover up the fact that the brother was there, so she told the housemaid, and the maid corroborated the story and everything. It was just like everything was fine until they noticed like who on earth would be this confident in going into this house, stealing so little, murdering a guy, and then also like why would you rip apart the bell pull to alert the maids and the servants, whatever, unless you knew that the bell pull wouldn't actually be heard. And so Holmes put together these really, really minor clues to actually figure out the true story. But in the end, he did, as Sherlock Holmes does. Hello, viewer. Glad you are here. I can start reading in a minute or two. I see 2 viewers. Excellent. Hi, everyone. So yeah, this is the last chapter of The Return of Sherlock Holmes that we're about to read. The Adventure of the Second Stain. If you're there, you can say hi and we can start going. Hope you're all doing well. So, we have lost our second viewer. Perhaps they clicked on the wrong stream, or maybe they were like, oh, I don't actually want to read about Sherlock Holmes. Who knows? But I will start going in about another minute, unless you say hi, and then I'll start reading right away. Hello, viewer. So, yeah, last adventure of the Return of the last story in The Return of Sherlock Holmes, and after that, I think we have 2 more books. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Being a figurative term, as my computer is struggling to handle Twitch and everything else my computer's doing. Alright, so we have The Return of Sherlock Holmes, which is in 1905, and then The Valley of Fear, which is a full novel, as opposed to these short cases. That came out in 1914. His Last Bow in 1917, and The Case Book of Sherlock Holmes. So really we have three publications after this. So At least another month of Sherlock Holmes, it looks like. Um, okay. All right. So, giving people time. No one said hello, but I'm just going to read and hope that whoever wants to listen comes in. Okay. So, I had intended the adventure of the Abbey Grange, the last story we just read, to be the last of those exploits of my friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, which I should ever communicate to the public. This resolution of mine, as we just learned, is going to be broken many more times over, was not due to any lack of material, since I have notes of many hundreds of cases to which I have never alluded, nor was it caused by any waning interest on the part of my readers in the singular personality and unique methods of this remarkable man. The real reason lay in the reluctance which Mr. Holmes has shown to the continued publication of his experiences. So long as he was in actual professional practice, the records of his successes were of some practical value to him. But since he has definitely retired from London and betaken himself to study and bee farming on the Sussex Downs, notoriety has become hateful to him, and he has peremptorily requested that his wishes in this matter should be strictly observed. It was only upon my representing to him that I had given a promise that the adventure of the second stage should be published when the times were ripe, and pointing out to him that it is only appropriate that this long series of episodes should culminate in the most important international case which he has ever been called upon to handle, that I at last succeeded in obtaining his consent, that a carefully guarded account of the incident should be at last be laid before the public. This is one sentence. If, in telling the story, I seem to be somewhat vague in certain details, the public will readily understand that there is an excellent reason for my reticence. It was then, in a year, and even in a decade that shall be nameless, that upon one Tuesday morning, in autumn, we found two visitors of European fame within the walls of our humble room in Baker Street. The one, austere, high-nosed, eagle-eyed, and dominant, was none other than the illustrious Lord Bellinger, twice Premier of Britain. Okay, if we're keeping the year vague or nameless, why are we telling the people the name of the client? All right, twice Premier of Britain. I don't know what that means, but I guess that is his description. So let's have Google Docs actually respond. The other, dark, clear-cut, and elegant, hardly yet of middle age, and endowed with every beauty of body and mind, was the Right Honourable Trelawney Hope, Secretary of European Affairs, and the most rising statesman in the country. Okie dokie. They sat side by side upon our paper-littered settee, and it was easy to see from their worn and anxious faces that it was business of the most pressing importance which had brought them. The Premier's thin, blue-veined hands were clasped tightly over the ivory head of his umbrella, and his gaunt, ascetic face looked gloomily from Holmes to me. The European secretary pulled nervously at his mustache and fidgeted with the seals of his watch chain. When I discovered my loss, Mr. Holmes, which was at 8 o'clock this morning, I at once informed the Prime Minister. It was at his suggestion that we have both come to you. Have you informed the police? No, sir, said the Prime Minister. What? Is Premier another word for Prime Minister, maybe? And that we have both the Prime Minister and this other guy, Mr. Hope, in the room. That's what I'm going to go with. With the quick, decisive manner for which he was famous. We have not done so, nor is it possible that we should do so. To inform the police must, in the long run, mean to inform the public. This is what we particularly wish to avoid. And why, sir? Because the document in question is of such immense importance. that its publication might very easily, I might almost say probably, lead to European complications of the utmost moment. It is not too much to say that peace or war may hang upon the issue. Unless its recovery can be attended with the utmost secrecy, then it may as well not be recovered at all, for all that is aimed at by those who have taken it is that its contents should be generally known. I understand. Now, Mr. Trelawney Hope, I hope, I hope, I should be much obliged to. It's been a while, as you can tell, I don't know how to read anymore. I should be much obliged if you would tell me exactly the circumstances under which this document disappeared. That can be done in a very few words, Mr. Holmes. The letter, for it was a letter from a foreign potentate, was received 6 days ago. It was of such importance that I have never left it in my safe, but have taken it across each evening to my house in Whitehall Terrace and kept it in my bedroom in a locked dispatch box. Why is this more secure than a safe? It was there last night. Of that I am certain. I actually opened the box while I was dressing for dinner and saw the document inside. The morning it was gone. The dispatch box had stood beside the glass upon my dressing table all night. I am a light sleeper, and so is my wife. We are both prepared to swear that no one could have entered the room during the night, and yet I repeat that the paper is gone.